fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. In the pages of history, one can find no greater champion of justice than the masked rider of the plains. He fought crime and criminals throughout the western United States. But one of his most thrilling adventures took place across the border in Mexico. It was during the Mexican War for Independence when he joined forces with the Black Caballero and the men of Juarez in their struggle for liberty. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for the hills. Tonto and the Black Caballero are waiting for us. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
The residents of Santa Marta were thrown into sudden panic. Foreign soldiers from the fort that stood at the edge of the town entered more than a dozen homes, seizing everyone inside them. No one was spared. The aged, the very young, even the women were placed under arrest.
No. We are innocent, senor. We have done nothing. My daughter, my Benita, my to the death
Scarcely had the first arrest been made than a horseman raced from town, driving his mount with whip and spur toward the hills. His horse was foam-flecked, and he himself was near exhaustion. When at last he drew rein and threw himself from the saddle. A rising wind tore his clothing as he staggered toward the mouth of a cave.
Compadres! Ramon, Jose! Jake, come on, where?
Miguel, what has happened? Why you come here?
The Senor Lone Ranger. The Senor Black Caballero. Where are they? I must see them, Jose.
But what has happened?
Quick!
They are inside. Come.
Jose, what is it?
Senor, it is Miguel.
Ah, Miguel, you're welcome. You bring us news from town, yes?
Yes, senor. I bring the news. Terrible news.
Bad news, Miguel. What is it?
Compadres, we are lost.
Go on.
Today the soldiers have seized our families. Your father, Chico, he has been taken to the guardhouse. Ramon, your wife, Carmencita, she too has been taken prisoner. Your mother, your father, your little son Joaquin, they too have not escaped. Oh, it is terrible.
Diablo. Why, Miguel, why?
That I do not know, senor.
Perhaps I do. Miguel, who else was seized? Anyone not related to your comrades here?
I cannot say. I left at once.
Amigo, what is it you have in mind?
This, Black Caballero. It's been several days since we raided the fort and recaptured the arms and money belonging to Juarez that the soldiers had stolen.
See?
By this time, Major Lafitte must have learned that these men helped us. It wouldn't be difficult. He had only to go through the village and find out what men were missing.
And?
And we know that he wants revenge. He can't find us to punish us, but he can seize the families of your friends. The Major isn't the kind of man to overlook such an opportunity.
But no, my friend. It is impossible. That would be making war upon women and children. No man of honor could do these things.
Major Lafitte is not a man of honor.
But still...
Moreover, he and the men he commands are foreigners. They're fighting for a foreigner, Maximilian, against Juarez and you and your people. He's part of the force attempting to make slaves of a free people. And when you're fighting for an unjust cause, you must use dishonorable methods.
Then, amigo, it is as you think the families of our compadres will be punished for what we have done?
Not punished, perhaps. More likely held as hostages.
Hostages?
For our surrender.
Oh, but this must not be.
Tonto, get Silver and Scout. Saddle them at once.
Tonto, do it. You right?
To Santa Marta, Black Caballero.
No, you must not. If you are caught,
If we're caught, then I'm depending upon you to see that we're free.
Of course, amigo, but...
No use to argue, friend. We've got to know what's happening. Tonto and I will see. Adios. We'll return as quickly as we can. The families of the small band of daring men who followed the Black Caballero were placed in the guardhouse. The outer wall of this building faced the outside of the fort. It was toward the guardhouse that Major Lafitte and the scout he called Dirk made their way. The wind in the meantime had increased in strength. Crossing the courtyard, the two men were more than once halted by its force. And although it was no more than noon, the sky was beginning to darken with particles of dust and sand swept up by the storm. Lafitte shouted,
Sacre bleu. Whoever saw the like?
Major, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Eh? There are winds like this often?
Take a look at the color of the sky to the east. You'll think this ain't nothing more than a breeze after we're through.
Ah, what a country.
There's the guardhouse.
Quickly, let us get out of this.
Come on. Oh, this is better. We're out of the worst of the wind beneath the wall here. Got your keys?
We keep the dogs covered as I open the door.
You think I won't?
Stand back! Attempt to rush us, we'll shoot you down.
What is it you wish with us, senor?
Peace! Why cannot you leave us in peace?
Quiet there! Quiet! Quiet!
Shut up, Blasty! I'll let you have it! Shut up!
I ask you again, senor. What is it that brings you here?
One of the guards reported you.
See?
You have been heard singing and laughing. This morning a man could not think for the howling you made. What has happened here? What is it? Speak up.
Ah, senor, would you not wish to know?
None of that now. When the major asks a question, you'll answer, and pronto.
We are happy, senors, because we have heard good news.
News?
See, we have been told that soon we shall be free.
So, now I think I understand. You have been told that as soon as those traitors hiding in the hills have surrendered, you'll be permitted to leave, eh?
See, we have heard that also.
Explain to them, monsieur.
Well, folks, I'll tell you how it is. If them hombres come here to the fort and give themselves up, then you'll go free, sure.
That is what we
Hold your
have...
horses a second. That ain't all of it. The point is just this. That offer don't hold if they're caught first.
No?
And the major schemed so they would be. Don't you figure we savvied what had happened just as soon as word got out that we was holding you for hostages?
Of what you speak, senor?
Why, all your friends in the village that had a notion where them gents was hiding out just about broke their fool necks to get into the hills and pass them the word.
But is that not what you wish?
Why, sure it was. But not in the way you're thinking. We've had men planted out there to follow them. Captain Lassier's got a patrol with them right now in the hills. waiting for word where they're hiding out so as they can grab them. So like I said, it don't look much like they're going to be able to surrender willing. And if they don't, you folks stay on in this here calaboose.
You comprehend, my friend?
Ah, but for once, senor, you make a mistake.
What's that?
Tell them, Pancho, tell them.
Talk, blast you.
I have said, senors, that we have been told that we will go free. But it is not because those you seek will surrender. No, we would not wish our freedom at such a price.
Then how else you going to get out of here?
That we do not know.
Huh?
But it has been promised us by the senor with the mask.
The masked man?
Hey, where'd you see that fella? How'd you get word from him? By thunder, you...
How they got word, Dirk. Through the window. They shut the window.
Them sentries of yours blind? How'd he get so close to the wall without being sighted?
I do not know, but
I
he...
was seen.
Then how would
At
you...
this moment,
I have a gun aimed at the only guard who is aware that I'm here. He knows better than to call out.
I will
You'll
take...
do nothing. And thanks for the information about Captain Lasser. We didn't know he had left the fort.
Blast
You
you!
can be sure that he won't find my friend.
You cannot always escape us.
We'll see about that. And one thing more.
Well,
I've given my word to these people that they'll regain their liberty. The men and their families who are now in the hills will not have to suffer because of it.
You will
and
not-
I'll keep my word.
Mister, that's big talk that's going to get you in front of a firing squad yet.
Come on, Silver. Get him up, Scout.
The engine was with him.
Corporal, turn out the guard. After those fellows. The masked man and Tonto raced back to the cave in a desperate effort to reach their friends before their hideout could be found by Captain Lasser. Even the increasing fury of the windstorm could not slow their pace. And at the entrance to the cave... What's the horses, Kimasabi?
me watch him.
I'm going inside. Warn us if anyone approaches.
I'll try to do it.
amigo, what have you learned?
Plenty.
Yes?
Captain Lasser is somewhere in the hills. They've got men posted to signal him. Anyone coming here would have been followed. Tonto and I came by a roundabout trail.
Sapristi. 3 from town have already arrived.
Do you know if they were seen?
Fernando, Dominic, Pablo! Come here, quickly! You heard what the Senor Rangers told me? What have you seen, amigos? Was there anything you noticed as you came?
Senor.
Well, Pablo.
As I rode here, there was a man on the horse. I thought nothing of it. I did not know as much.
Pablo.
We can't take chances. The horseman Pablo saw was one of Lafitte's men. Captain Lasser is on his way here now.
See, we must leave at once. Jose, you get
amigo.
What is it?
We have been talking. All of us have discussed this thing, Senor Black Caballero.
Art with it?
It is like this. The soldiers, they have made our wives, our mothers, our fathers prisoners. Those we love will be punished for what we have done. What chance have we, amigo, when they...
Remember, you are cowards, yes? Is it that you no longer trust me? Is it that you would go crawling back to your homes and beg those pigs of soldiers to have mercy upon you?
No, but, senor...
Ah, it is for Mexico and what else we fight. It is not for ourselves, you, me, Ramon there. Would you give up that fight now?
Our families, amigo, you must think...
Wait. Men, I understand how you feel. I am not of your country, but I am your friend nevertheless, and know what is in your mind. It is not easy to go on fighting when people dear to you may suffer by it. No matter what the cause, it still is not easy. But I think there's a way out. A way in which those of you whose families have been seized by the soldiers may rescue them. And still you'll be free to fight for Mexico.
And that way, Senor Lone Ranger.
You have followed me before and had success. Will you trust me once more? Will you follow the Black Caballero and me again? Do you think the stakes are worth the risk?
And our people are held prisoners?
Will be returned to you safe and sound.
What do you say, amigos?
I will follow. Yes, sir. And I, Pablo, I will also follow.
There is no time to waste. Get your horses. Saddle up. Pronto, my friend! The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Pablo had been seen and followed as he rode to the cave. The Legionnaires, led by Captain Lasser, jogged down the trail toward the hideout, unaware that their arrival was expected. The windstorm had grown still more violent. It rose to hurricane strength, and the troopers had difficulty following the trail.
Doggone, Captain, I can hardly get my breath. It's blowing so hard.
Oui, monsieur. It is getting worse.
Look at the dirt in the sky. You think it was getting close to night.
We should be grateful, however.
Huh? For this?
The wind will cover the sound of our approach. These rebels will not be warned.
I was forgetting that.
Watch the trail. It grows narrow.
Uh-huh. Come on, boy. Get up there.
Monsieur,
Yeah?
what is that? You are familiar with this country?
Sure. That's just the cut I told you we had to pass through. There's a valley on beyond. Then we climb a ways. After that, we're almost there.
Good, good.
Here we are. It'll just take us a couple of seconds to get through here. It'd be clear sailing on the other side of this cut if it weren't for this blasted storm.
I see the valley.
It's about 3 miles wide, then begins rising again. What the blue?
Who calls?
Handcuffers waiting, amigo. Please hold it in the order. You're covered, every man of you.
This cannot be.
You and your men are our prisoners, Captain. Oh, boy. And if you doubt my word, look around you.
Guns! They've lined the pass. No use making a break for it, Cap. We wouldn't have a chance.
Disarming Captain Lasser's startled column, the Lone Ranger and his companions forced the Legionnaires to accompany them back to the cave the Mexicans used for a hideout. There, the troopers were forced to exchange their uniforms for the ragged clothing of the band of patriots. The Lone Ranger himself took off his mask and assumed a disguise. The Mexicans could not hide their jubilation.
Hey, compadres! Time is passing.
This is the outrage.
How did you expect to be treated, Captain? You came here with your men to make war on these people who wish only the right to rule themselves. Did you expect them to welcome you?
What is these filthy clothes? It is unheard of.
New experiences are good for the soul, amigo.
Hey,
You
you
easy, Captain. You ain't doing yourself no good getting mad. What are you fellas fixing to do? Leave us here?
The moment the men are ready, we ride.
What about us?
You ride also.
Huh? What for?
You'll find out soon enough.
Amigo,
Yes?
our compadres are almost ready. Shall I tell them to mount?
First see to these fellows.
See?
Tell your men to tie the troopers to their saddles. When that's done, we can leave.
It will be done.
Yes, senor. Listen, this storm, it is getting worse.
Fine.
What can we do in such weather, senors? The sky is like at night. I have seen what trees have fallen. Never has there been such a storm in all the time that I, Miguel, can remember.
If it weren't for the storm, our plan would fail, Miguel.
See?
For our own good, hope that it doesn't die out before we reach the fort. Ready, men? Then come! At the fort, while Dirk sat looking on, Major Lafitte paced the floor of his quarters.
Why don't you sit down, Major? What's the use of getting yourself all head up? Ain't nothing to be gained by it.
Captain Monsieur should have returned an hour ago.
What do you expect? To plan your fights on regular schedules? How in blazes do you know how much trouble he had rounding up them fellas?
Precisely. How do I know? The longer it takes for him to return, the more serious the situation looks.
Yeah, that's maybe so. But you ain't helping none by wearing out the floor.
You forget yourself.
Huh?
An officer of the Legion is accustomed to being addressed with more respect.
Now, look here, Major. Don't you forget yourself. I ain't one of your trained monkeys. I ain't enlisted in your army. And you need me and Squint a heap more than we need the cash you pay us. So just stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Pardon, Monsieur. I am upset. Much depends on what happens today.
Forget it, Major. I can savvy how you feel.
I've left word to the sentries to inform me the moment Captain Lasser is sighted.
Well, I reckon they will then, all right.
But it is worse, this waiting, than fighting itself. For a soldier, the battle is nothing. It is inaction when everything hangs in the balance that is impossible to bear.
Something like scouting for Injuns, huh? You worry about 'em until you see 'em.
Perhaps.
Yeah, better calm down.
We will try.
Just listen to that wind, Major. If I was you, I'd be thanking my lucky stars I was here all safe and snug and out with the others, no matter how doggone impatient I got.
Captain Lasser was approaching the fort. But if Major Lafitte had seen the manner of his approach, his anxiety would have increased. The smart uniform he had worn was gone, as were those of his men. Instead, he and his troopers were garbed in the ragged clothing of the Mexican peon. And although uniformed figures were present, brown faces showed beneath their hats. As they rode, the Lone Ranger gave his instructions to the Black Caballero.
Don't waste a moment. We have the storm and our disguises in our favor. But our advantage will only be for a moment.
I understand, amigo.
There are more soldiers at the fort than we've captured. See? Our only chance will be that of complete surprise. The gates are thrown open. Enter with your men and spread out at once. Circle the courtyard. I think you'll find that most of the garrison will be there to greet Lasser.
How they will greet him, my friend?
We should be close.
I cannot be far. Air is thick with dust. It's difficult to see. But there is one thing, amigo.
Yes?
If we are discovered before the gates are open, what then?
It will do no good to attempt to storm them. We'd meet only failure and spend good lives as well.
That is so.
But do not forget that if Lafitte is holding the families of your men, we are holding Lafitte's senior officers in the pick of his command. We can arrange an exchange. Captain Lasser and his soldiers are your people who have been imprisoned.
In either way, we are assured of success.
We'll hope so.
Get him up, Stroll. It is Tonto.
You were looking for me, Tonto?
There, fort. It's almost time.
Remember your instructions. Pass the word to your men.
See, he's ready, Diablo. Yeah.
Captain Lasser. We'll be at the fort in a moment. One sound, one word of warning from either you or your men, and you'll regret it.
And if we keep silent?
We'll try to avoid bloodshed. We are not murderers.
It is a bargain.
Oh, who goes there?
They've seen us. Now for it.
Meanwhile, inside the fort.
Yes, monsieur. Was it the sentry?
I didn't hear nothing. You're imagining things now. Didn't I tell you to take it easy?
I was almost sure.
Go on and sit down. You.
Major!
Entree.
It is Captain Lasoma, Major. He is outside the gates.
Très bien, you're sure?
But of a certainty.
They are alone?
No, Major. They have with them prisoners.
Good.
By golly, they've done it.
This will be worthy of a celebration. We shall have wine. Why are you standing there, you fools? To the gates, admit them.
Wait, Major.
No, my friend, we shall see how much trouble these fools will make us in the future. They will be quiet after this, I can assure you. Come, I shall congratulate the sewer myself. Open the gates, I say. What delays you?
One moment, sir.
They're getting them.
Congratulations, Captain. Come on, Silver.
Surround the courtyard, compadre!
That ain't the captain.
These are rebels! Open fire! You haven't a chance, Major. Tell your men to throw down their arms. Never. Watch out, Captain. Up with your hands.
I give up.
Oh, well, listen to me, Major. Don't want your men to surrender before the lights out. Hear me? You want your men killed? Cease fire! Cease fire! Black Caballero. You call me, amigo. Command your friends to hold their fire. The Major has surrendered.
Viva Juarez! Viva Mexico! Compadres! We have won!
The Legionnaires, seeing that resistance was impossible, threw down their arms and assembled in the center of the courtyard under the watchful eyes of the Lone Ranger. When he was assured that there would be no attempt at treachery...
Now then, march ahead of us.
What is it that you do?
Obey orders and don't ask questions.
But I will
to the guardhouse, all of you.
I will give you the keys. We cannot resist. You can free your friends.
We shall.
Then you
But
can...
that isn't all. Other regiments of the Legion are in the territory, Major. We've gained the fort, but it would be impossible for us to defend it.
You have won this time. But there will be other times, I promise you.
We will continue fighting as we have in the past, striking from the hills.
You will not...
But in the meantime, you and your friends will get a taste of your own medicine. This will do. Halt! Major, unlock the door.
We...
Open it. Quiet! You're free. Find yourselves horses and get to the saddle.
Senor, you have kept your promise. You've rescued us.
We thank you, senor.
Hurry! We leave in a moment. All right, Major.
What are you...
Inside with you. All of you. March. Quickly.
You lock us in there?
I promise you a taste of your own medicine. This is it.
No, no.
Did you hear me? Inside.
Oh, monsieur, if only someday I can meet you again. Then it will be a different story.
I'm remaining, Major. I think you will. And then we'll see.
Never, amigo, have I had so much enjoyment myself.
Your people are ready?
See.
Here, Silver. Then we leave. This is the second blow we've struck at Maximilian's men, Black Caballero. Let's hope not many more will be needed.
Mexico will thank you, my friend.
Come, back to the hills.
See. On, Diablo!
Come on, Silver. Oh, Silver! Away! The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.